What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with the overall market and some very important levels to watch for based off the trend we're seeing. I'm also going to talk about what's happening to SPY, Nvidia, Tesla, the QQQ, and a couple of tickers out there, and break down some important levels for the rest of the day, and then talk about how the technicals are looking on the bigger trends. But before I do anything like this, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $50 cash reward. The offer ends in just 10 days. So anyways, now let's talk about the market, how are things looking. So looking at SPY, we had a very, very nice looking setup today. We basically got this nice bounce in the morning. I was telling you guys we were looking quite fine. We had this bullish falling wedge that developed, right? A very, very nice looking formation. And then I warned you all that, look, this thing, as long as it doesn't drop too far below like 435, we're pretty much in a decent place. It looked kind of fine to me. Because when you zoom out of the trend, we had this inverse head and shoulder structure and we were still holding above our right shoulder, right? We still had this right shoulder support. We also had support at 434.8. Overall, we held up quite decently, looking quite nice. So the market held up, got a break, a very, very beautiful looking break. And this is actually a very nice textbook trade right here. Basically, you have this falling wedge like pattern on SPY. And what you would have wanted to do is watch for the break and then look for the back test. If we got a bounce off the back test, this would be a really, really good entry. So you easily could have took calls right here and just rode them all the way up as this thing just continued to pump. And we actually broke above the resistance at 437.5 and we continue to push. Now we're hitting this resistance zone right about here. This right here has become our next supply zone for the daily resistance range. This is currently going to be around this 438.5 to about 439 area. We have some tight resistance right here. And if we do break below 439 sometime in the future, this thing could start flying for 440. That is most likely going to come, and the market is still holding up quite decently. So overall, it looks quite good. For today, watch this resistance. It might slow SPY down right here. We're seeing some wicks developing on top. I'm going to be watching this support right over here and then watch for potential retest of 438 if it does end up breaking down. Completely fine, though. It's holding up quite decently. If that comes down, you're going to be watching our EMAs. On the 5-minute, we have 437.5 close to the 50 EMA. And then below that, we have 437 flat. All these different areas are going to be very important. We also have this previous resistance zone right here becoming support, very close to the very high 436s, if not by 437. So watch all these levels. You can see it is rejecting off resistance right here in real time. I told you to watch it all very carefully and then do what you have to do, guys. Expect this thing to just continue range trading unless we get a break above 439. For now, it's just continuing to do so. For Tesla stock, it's also looking very nice so far today. If you look at Tesla, I didn't actually draw anything too significant on this, but we have a very nice looking structure developed right about here. So in my opinion, as Tesla continues to hold up, I think it's just really, really doing a great job at holding this support like right in this zone like this. It might get a breakdown. It might come down a little bit as the market slows for a bit. But overall, it's still a strong trend. I don't see Tesla like breaking down too hard. It could like come down to retest this trend line. And we're going to be watching if this holds. If it does break below this, then 227 is a possibility. 227.25, our 50 EMA test. But the bottom line is, I told you guys, Tesla was looking good. I told you that around this area right about here, this 225 areas where we'd be watching support, it actually bounced off that and pushed all the way right back up to the resistance at 230. If 230 breaks, there's going to be resistance at 232.5 and 234 to 235. For now, it's holding up. It's going to come down to touch this little trend line. We're going to see if this holds or not. Even if it comes down, it's fine. Tesla's still up very nicely. Nothing is wrong with that. Very, very nice looking structure. Very, very beautiful. And we have, just like on SPY, when you zoom out on the 5-minute, I can actually go back to the 30-minute time frame just to show you guys the bigger trend. This looks bullish on Tesla. Just to be frank with you, this looks bullish. We have a nice inverse head and shoulders like structure forming a cup and handle. So we could be seeing like a handle like formation going into tomorrow before another bounce, and it could continue to break out. I want to see a break above 230 by tomorrow. If so, 234 is on the table to 235, and above that it could keep going for 240. But this is just a temporary pump, at least for the time being. We don't know what's going to happen after Jerome Powell speaks, what happens after Nvidia's earnings. But for now, it looks good. So watch resistance and support. For Nvidia, how is this looking? How is Nvidia looking? Very, very beautiful. right? We called out this thing pumping like crazy. We called this out for many, many days. I even made videos about this over the weekend that this thing is going to break out. Look at this flag that formed on it. Look at the breakout. We're already at 462. It could keep going tomorrow to 470. That is the full measured move. We're already almost there. Very, very beautiful stuff. Now, we're approaching resistance around this 462 area. I mean, if it does kind of like reject here, it could get a small retracement back to 460 or lower before it tries to continue pushing. But overall, very beautiful trend, very, very strong looking setup. And for tomorrow and beyond, we could see this thing just keep going. If it breaks above 470, I would not rule out the possibility of these next resistance levels, which I will talk about in my later videos. But that is a real potential target, right? It could get very close to 500 right before its earnings. I would not rule out that possibility. I would not hold back on this stock. It is a monster and it's looking very strong. Very, very beautiful breakout. It has not completed its overall move. The big full measured move would take this thing up even higher. It could go another $8 over the next day, and then even break higher than that, depending on how it looks. So far, so good for Nvidia. The triple Q is also looking very nice thanks to Nvidia, and also because Apple was trying to break out as well. The triple Q has broken this resistance right here, but we're currently going to be testing 363. That's our resistance zone. Break above that, we have this imbalance at around 364.5. If that breaks, if it gets above 365, this next resistance, we could see this thing push all the way up to about 366. So I know these levels are kind of tight. There's 366, 364.5, 365, and then 366, all resistance levels. And if you look at the structure, it looks bullish, right? Very, very nice inverse head and shoulders. This is like everywhere. This appeared on Tesla. It appeared on, Apple. It appeared on SPY, SPX. The list goes on. It is still, appearing, and we're looking pretty good so far. Now, I want to just call out one more thing about SPX. We were calling out this pump, which would dictate SPY in the market, as this was dictated by Apple and Nvidia. But I basically drew this out. I don't want to make any promises about this. Let me just zoom out a little bit for you. On SPX, we had this possible head and shoulders that could be developing. There's a possibility of this if Nvidia's earnings does not go as planned or Jerome Powell causes a rug pull later on during the week. But I'm drawing this out because we were at support on SPX. We got a nice bounce right here. Let's just zoom in for a second. Look at how it's bouncing off the support off the inverse, the head and shoulders. So there's a possibility this could develop, or it might just be a fake out, and this thing could just keep pumping. It really depends on what happens with Nvidia and Jerome Powell. So I'm always open-minded to anything, but just know for now, we're going to be watching for this head and shoulders pattern to start forming. We don't know if this is going to commit or if this is going to end up playing out if we do get a rejection later on during the week thanks to Nvidia or Powell, or if not, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of us just continuing to uptrend, right? Could go either way, but for now, we're just going to be watching this structure. And this is basically telling us that our expected move is going to take us back to this resistance, which is going to pump the market a little bit more, which will help SPY start pumping. So the market's holding up nicely. This is how technicals are looking so far. Watch your levels very carefully. Nvidia is strong and SPY is trying to hold up. Not bad so far, and there is still more potential upside. On SPY or SPY, let me just add on the bigger trend, one last thing. The inverse head and shoulders is still valid. We got this drop followed by a nice pump, nice liquidity grab. It's still holding up. During the later days, this is the bigger trend now, the 30-minute time frame. The later days approaching Nvidia's earnings could pump this thing as we approach the earnings. We could see 440 plus on SPY. This imbalance is acting as a magnet, but we first have to hold above 439. That is going to be our next resistance level. So far, we're testing 438.5, so we're getting closer, but we want to see it break. And if it does so, don't forget to watch these levels. So far, so good, and I'm very optimistic so far. So for now, this was what we expected during the weekend. We were talking about this pump. So far, so good. But going into after Nvidia's earnings, everything could just change from there on. So make sure you're prepared for that. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. So please watch these levels carefully. I will talk about the bigger trend and see how the market closes later on. And until then, take care, everyone. Do what you have to do and stay safe. Thank you and peace out.